The year was 1978, deep within the unforgiving expanse of the Canadian Arctic. For 3 men, this frozen wasteland was home. Not a home of comfort, but of purpose. Outpost 73, a remote meteorological station, was their world. A tiny, self-sufficient bubble of humanity against the infinite white. There was Elias Volkov, the station chief, a man whose face was etched with the unforgiving lines of 1,000 Arctic winters. He was the stoic anchor. Then came Dr. Aris Thorne, the lead scientist, a brilliant but introverted meteorologist who found more solace in barometric readings than human conversation. And finally, young Sam Kincaid, the junior tech, fresh out of university, full of an idealism the Arctic had not yet managed to grind away. Their days were a monotonous rhythm of readings, repairs, and radio checks. Every morning, at precisely 0800 hours, Elias would transmit their data to Resolute Bay, their only link to the world beyond the ice. It was a ritual, a lifeline. The hum of the generator, the crackle of the radio, the endless drone of the wind outside, these were the sounds of their existence. It was a hard life, but a predictable one. And in that predictability, there was a strange, isolated peace. They had been isolated for 5 months. The last supply drop was weeks ago. Snow drifts piled higher than the antennae. The temperature rarely climbed above -40, but they were prepared. Stockpiles of food, fuel, spare parts, enough to last another 6 months if need be. They were professionals, seasoned by the North. Nothing, it seemed, could surprise them, until it did. On a Tuesday morning, the scheduled 0800 transmission from Outpost 73 never came. Resolute Bay operators, accustomed to Elias's punctual, clipped reports, waited. An hour passed, then 2. They tried to raise Outpost 73. Static, only static. A cold knot of unease began to form. At 1400 hours, a faint, garbled signal finally broke through the white noise. It wasn't Elias's usual steady voice. It was Sam Kincaid. His voice, usually bright and eager, was now ragged, strained, choked with something like primal fear. Resolute. This is Outpost 73. Do you read? Mayday. Mayday. The transmission was breaking up badly. The operators strained to hear. They heard a frantic whisper. Something about the lights, then a sudden guttural scream that wasn't human, and then a chilling, unnatural silence. The line went dead. Resolute Bay tried again and again. Nothing, just the vast, empty hiss of the Arctic airwaves, the Mayday call, the scream, the absolute, immediate silence. It was as if the outpost, and everyone in it, had been swallowed whole by the ice itself. The alarm was raised. A search and rescue operation was immediately dispatched. But the Arctic is not kind to urgency. A blizzard had rolled in, a wall of white fury that grounded all aircraft. It would be days, perhaps even a week, before anyone could reach Outpost 73. Days for the unknown terror that had gripped young Sam Kincaid to solidify into something even more terrifying, an absolute, unyielding mystery. When the blizzard finally abated, a small team of experienced Arctic Rangers, led by a grim-faced veteran named Captain Miller, set out. Their journey was grueling. Days of battling sub-zero temperatures, whiteout conditions, and the profound, isolating silence of the frozen land. Every mile covered felt like a step deeper into an unfolding nightmare. The vastness of the wilderness seemed to press in, a suffocating blanket of dread. Finally, after nearly 5 days, the search team spotted it. A faint smudge on the horizon, the outline of Outpost 73's main building and the skeletal radio tower, half buried in snow. From a distance it looked normal, intact. No signs of fire, no structural damage, no obvious disaster. An unnerving stillness hung in the air, broken only by the whine of their snowmobiles and the endless whisper of the wind. As they approached, the first truly unsettling detail emerged. The station's snowmobiles were still parked neatly outside, undisturbed. The generator, however, was silent. Dead. They cut the power from their own vehicles, plunging the outpost into an even deeper, more profound quiet. Only the crunch of their boots on the packed snow and the ragged beat of their own hearts dared to break it. Captain Miller pushed open the heavy main door. It swung inward with a groan, revealing a scene that defied all logic. Inside, the lights were off, the emergency battery dead. Miller's powerful flashlight cut through the gloom. The interior was undisturbed. No signs of struggle, no overturned furniture, nothing broken. It was as if the occupants had simply stepped away. The mess hall table still held half-eaten plates of food, hardened, frozen in time. A game of chess lay unfinished, pieces mid-move. Elias Volkov's pipe sat in an ashtray, ashes still in the bowl. Dr. Thorne's scientific journals were open on his desk, meticulously detailed notes half-written. In the sleeping quarters, beds were unmade, personal effects scattered, as if their owners had just risen. It was a snapshot of ordinary life, suddenly, inexplicably, paused. But the three men were gone, vanished, not a single trace, no footprints leading away into the snow, no sign of a struggle, no blood, no forced entry. The perimeter fence was intact. The dog sled teams, usually a noisy, boisterous presence, were found still chained in their kennels outside, starved to death. Their barks, their cries for food, had gone unheard, their silent suffering a chilling testament to the utter absence of human life. What could have happened? The investigation was meticulous, exhaustive. Every square inch of Outpost 73 and the surrounding area was searched. Nothing, not a single clue. It was a void of information, a perfect, terrifying blank slate. The official report concluded with the chilling phrase, "Cause of disappearance unknown." The theories, however, were immediate and varied, each more unsettling than the last. Some speculated about a rogue polar bear attack, but there were no tracks, no blood, no signs of a struggle fierce enough to take three men without a trace. Others whispered of a mass psychosis, a shared delusion brought on by the isolation, driving them out into the unforgiving wilderness to their deaths. But why no bodies? And what about Sam's terrified radio call, the inhuman scream? Then came the more outlandish explanations. Stories of unknown creatures, cryptids lurking in the deep Arctic, a legend among the Inuit of spirits that steal men from their homes. Or perhaps something extraterrestrial, a UFO abduction, a silent, efficient removal. The fact that their personal effects, their gear, their supplies, were all left behind only fueled these darker, more speculative ideas. No one takes only themselves when they leave a place like Outpost 73. Could it have been an undetected gas leak, a sudden poisoning that incapacitated them all before they could react? But Dr. Thorne was a scientist. Surely he would have noticed, or documented it. And the scream. A gas leak doesn't scream. The truth of Outpost 73 remains buried beneath layers of ice and time. The three men, Elias Volkov, Dr. Aris Thorne, and Sam Kincaid, were never seen again. Their families were left with an agonizing, unanswerable question. Their memory, like the outpost itself, frozen in an eternal moment of quiet, terrifying suspense. Today, Outpost 73 still stands, a silent sentinel in the vast, indifferent Arctic. The wind howls through its empty halls, a mournful dirge for the lost. And sometimes, on the radio waves, when the static is just right, one might almost hear the echoes of a young man's final terrified whisper, and a scream that no human could make. A chilling reminder that some places, some silences, are never meant to be broken. Some mysteries are never meant to be solved.